All right, folks, welcome to the PM Podcast. We have been hosting focus groups for physicians and clients for about 2 years. The goal is to develop products and services that will benefit both the candidate and the client. Now, after our last physician focus group in May, we decided to take our findings to the big screen. Today, we'll talk about the topics that were discussed during that session. Now, first, let me introduce myself. My name is Gary Vaincoeur. I've been with PracticeMatch for almost 5 years. I work in client support and training. I spend my days making sure clients know how to use our system in the best way possible to accomplish their goals. Now, with us today, we have one of my PracticeMatch teammates. So everyone, please give a warm welcome to Ashley. Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Gary. Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley Poshard, and I am the Program Relations Specialist here at PracticeMatch. I'm on the Physician Services team, and my primary focus is finding new ways to attract physicians to the PracticeMatch platform. I do that by working with program coordinators and chief residents to learn more about what they need and implementing new features and services based on their feedback. I joined PracticeMatch in November of 2001, and before that, I was an in-house physician recruiter and PracticeMatch client.
Wait, a former recruiter and client?
Yes,
There you
sir.
have it, folks. She loved working with us so much that she had to come and join us. We're that great. And in case you're wondering, yes, we're hiring. But back on script. Our first topic from the focus group is emails. So let's see what the first question is. We asked the physicians, what information would you like to see in the subject line to get you to click on it? Now, key one here, key response, base salary, location, and are you offering bonuses? And when we're talking about location, folks, we need actual cities and towns. Don't just put a general metro region, Philadelphia area, be specific. Also, the extra perks. Are we offering student loan forgiveness? A sign-on bonus? Is it a not-for-profit organization? And is there PSLF available? And another key one, the practice setting. Inpatient, outpatient is very important to know that for certain specialties. So it really just sounds like we need to be specific, folks. Physicians want the details right away. So we have to give them something to get excited about. All right, what's next, Ashley?
All right, so we asked what information in the subject line makes you not click on an email?
Mm.
Salary up to. They really want to see an actual guaranteed dollar figure. No fluffy words. So rather than beautiful Southern California, they would prefer to see Santa Monica, California. No emojis. They said that screams spam. They will block you. This was a hard unanimous no.
Got it.
Lack of salary and location. They are basically moving right along without clicking on the email if it doesn't have those two things in it. They
Mm.
really want to see emails that are targeted to their preference. Physicians tell us quite a bit about what they're looking for when they create their profiles and also express some frustration about so many recruiters contacting them about areas and practice types that they're really not interested in. Some of the physicians specifically spoke about the amount of emails that they're getting after a career fair from recruiters saying, hey, we spoke at the career fair when maybe they didn't. And they also reported that when they get that many emails, they don't click on any of them.
Wow. You are preaching the gospel today, Ashley. Thanks for that insight. Well, it looks like the takeaway is that the more we focus on marketing to a physician's preferences, the more success everyone will have in reaching physicians who are genuinely interested in their opportunities.
You got
Awesome
it.
stuff. All right, next question. In the body of the email, do you prefer sentences or bullet points? Well, shorter bullet points is the answer here, folks. And we want to focus on the specialty, the location, the rotation, the schedule. And following up to that, we asked in the body of the email, do you click on the links for the opportunity or the facility website? Now, a lot of candidates, a lot of physicians here replied that they would rather email instead of clicking on those links. And they just like to email back with more questions.
Yes, this was such a fun animated group, but they were very clear. We don't have time for long emails.
No one does.
So, next question. When asked how they conducted their job search, physicians reported using Google for per diem and residency moonlighting jobs, job boards, PracticeMatch, of course, for more full and part time positions instead of per diem or moonlighting. That's something they're really interested in, guys. Word of mouth from fellow residents and colleagues. They said that they learn more about the red flags that way, which we're all looking for the red flags, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and then other job boards reported were Practice Link and Doc Cafe.
Okay, all right. Well, nothing too surprising there. But since we're talking about jobs, here's a key question in that area. What do you prioritize in your job search? Hmm. Well, this one's not a surprise, folks. Money is number one. What am I getting paid? Show me the money. Yes. Location is key as well, and cost of living. Also, again, practice setting and the schedule. They want to know if they have an ability to leave early, which is huge in the psychiatry and family medicine realm. And then, of course, 501(c)(3 is a not for profit organization.
Yes, I want to chime in here, Gary, with a
Yeah.
practice match pro tip. So,
Okay.
student loans are in the top 5 job search priorities for physicians. I talk to physicians all the time and I keep hearing PSLF, PSLF. And, they really want to know, how are we going to pay off these student loans when we graduate with this massive amount of debt? So, we have tools to help these physicians find you. If you're offering any sort of student loan repayment, make sure you click that yes box under loan repayment when you're setting your jobs up in the Practice Match platform. Also, if you're a 501(c)(3, we recently added a feature that allows you to indicate that for physicians that want PSLF. So I did a quick search of our job board, and we have over 19,000 physician jobs posted. Over 15,000 of them are not specifying whether they offer loan repayment, like just not clicking the box when you set up your jobs. Yeah, so using these tools can be really, really helpful. Okay, my little rant's over. Moving
No,
on.
we appreciate it.
I'm passionate about this one, guys. Okay, so next question, the is geographic preference more important than geographic tie or vice versa? So this was an interesting conversation, and to keep it short, it comes down to life factors and their time of life. Physicians who reported having no kids or strong family ties said geographic preference. Those married with children who are close to their family said geographic ties. And then others reported that it really comes down to cost of living and getting the best bang for your buck.
Yeah, I mean, really, that just makes so much sense. It is really important to know what's important to your target audience. Now, here's a question that ties into a more modern way to contact your candidates. How do you feel about receiving texts about job opportunities? Well, one of the answers, lost pretty easily. uh, Candidates would rather text than a phone call, though, which is a good thing. But overwhelmingly, they would rather email over text. And they said if you email, you can include your cell phone for text contact by the doctor, but just be sure to make sure you mention what's your cell number, so they give that a little more priority. Yeah, interesting.
Okay. Okay. So we do these to report on what the doctors say, and that's very important that we pass that along. But coming from the physician recruitment role, I do want to share that I measured my response rate from candidates with emails, and I had an average 1% response rate. But with texts, I was averaging a 10% response rate. So, yes, they don't necessarily want to get texts, but in my experience, they do respond better to texts.
You hit it. That's it. I agree 100%. I mean, I love texting myself because of the quick responses. Whether it's a yes, I'm interested, or no, thank you. At least I get a response fairly quickly since texting is just so much more convenient. So
Yes.
I'm on your side. I'm definitely on your side on this one, Ashley.
Thanks, Gary. Okay, next question. What details do you need to see in the job descriptions? We got a lot of feedback here.
Mm,
So, salary should be shown in the job description. They really ring this one in on several topics that we discussed. They did. It was like, number one, we want to know, show me the money. Patient volume, how many cases per year? Bonus structure if the contract is RVU based. What subspecialties will they work with? Schedule. How often are they on call? Do they get to leave after they round? Work-life balance is important. That's
yeah.
something that they've definitely talked about quite a bit. City/town of location, not just minutes from NYC, Chicago. So they rang this one in too. Practice type. What procedures are required, especially for certain specialties like internal medicine? How many NPs would they be expected to follow or oversee? Is the ICU open or closed? Is voice dictation available? That was important for psych. EMR is important as well, and or scribe, if those are available. That's important to dermatology, though for surgery, EMR isn't as important. Equipment for certain specialties like surgery. So, there's a lot of information there. Um, but we got to break that down a little bit. Oh, another thing too, they would also really like to be able to find positions that allow residency moonlighting. So it's important to
Mm,
include whether or not you accept physicians that are not board eligible or board certified. And if you're open to that, I would suggest including that or even putting the words residency moonlighting in the subject line. As I was listening to this dialogue, my thoughts went back to when they were saying, keep it short, use bullet points. We don't have time to read long emails. Yet they reported wanting to see all of this information in the body. My takeaway to this is they definitely all want to see location and salary, but the bullet points you choose to put in your job postings and emails should be to the point and specific to the specialty. A dermatology candidate isn't worried about whether or not you have an open ICU or Da Vinci robot. They're more interested in your EMR and want to know if they'll have a scribe to support them. Whereas your surgery candidate definitely wants to know about that robot. If you have a ton of information tied into your facility template, it's going to make your job posting long and you'll lose their attention the second they click on it. So keep it specialty specific as much as possible.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, this is definitely a challenge, though. I've seen some of my clients that I've worked with in the past who have some great information on their new state-of-the-art facilities, and they want to show it off. But sounds like if it doesn't focus on what's important to that candidate, we should probably keep it up.
Yeah, you'll get the time to show off the facilities, once we get past that phone screen and get to the site visit, right?
There you go. There you go. Site visits. We'll get to those later. But next question we have up here. Are you aware of agencies and recruitment firms? And short answer is yes. And this is some of the ways that they've come in contact with them. Chatted with these firms through career fairs. They've reached out to the candidates through LinkedIn. But they did find that they're not much different than regular recruiters. But they noticed that they tend to not listen sometimes to what the physician is looking for, and they may have some clickbait type of emails. But they did overall say that in-house recruiters were much more palatable. So
It,
there you
it
go.
did sound like the physician's preference was to work with in-house recruiters.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of got that too. All right. So next question. How do you feel about virtual visits? Well, I guess the answer here would be kind of not a big fan because here's the overwhelming answer. In person over virtual. We got that answer from several physicians in this group here. And any serious location must give me an in-person site visit because the in-site visits just bring so much more to the table that you can learn about, of course, the location, the people there, and just the overall vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I can't be the only one that loves virtual site visits as the first step, though. When we did virtual site visits, they saved so much in time and resources, and we were definitely able to gauge whether a candidate was a right fit and if we were serious about moving forward before we invited them to visit. But of course, in person visits are a very important part of making the decision to move and sign a long term contract. So I think it's fair that, they say any serious location, they have to do an in person site visit. I would agree with that.
I I agree with that. I just think that virtual site visits are so key because before you go there, you can find out a lot. It can kind of make you just decide, do I even need to go there at this point? So
Exactly.
why not?
Exactly. So, next we did ask, what do you expect during a site visit?
Mm,
And they said they want to see exactly where their office workspace is located. They want to meet the other physicians that they'll be working with and have the opportunity to ask questions and look for red flags. They also want to see the dictation slash charting room and know, is it on the floor? Will they have a private area? Also, very important, food and snacks. Where is the coffee supply, the snack area? Where's the physician's lounge, the cafeteria? Who delivers? They want to know where the food is at. So be sure to include that in your site visits.
They're not alone. I'm hungry myself right now.
It's almost lunchtime, Gary. They also want to get a feel for the location, see if it's a Zen environment. They do prefer the recruiter do the town tour versus a realtor. They do want to see what the community has to offer as well as the real estate options and prefer doing it with the recruiter that they've already built rapport with rather than a realtor. I thought that one was a good takeaway. And then they also like to schedule their site visits over a long weekend so they can bring their family and have time to see schools, parks, and community offerings.
Yeah, these site visits are key. I mean, this is such a big decision that you need to be exposed to everything on these visits so you can make an educated choice. So awesome, awesome insight, Ashley. Thanks. All right, folks. Well, that's a wrap for this session. Thank you all so much for watching this episode of the PM podcast. Now, in the future, please expect to receive emails or surveys about questions or topics that we can include in our upcoming physician focus groups. We plan on conducting at least 2 per quarter and posting a new video once a quarter. So again, a big thank you to you, Ashley, for joining us and providing some gems. Once again, I'm Gary, and we hope you'll join us next time. Until then, happy sourcing, everybody.
Thanks, Gary. Bye, everyone.